Hello my dear friends, welcome on my channel. This is a PaintyKat and my name is Catherine. Today I want to introduce to you my tutorial. We're gonna paint with acrylic on a canvas. But yes, if you like to, you can paint on a paper also. If you will paint on a paper, I really recommend to you canvas textured paper, and it's need to be thick enough. This is a short demonstration version of tutorial, real time going for 1 hour and 43 minutes, and you can find it on my Creative Club. Links on it, also link for the supplies you can find in a description. In a real time, of course we have a lots of time to talk about everything while we painting together, all mixes, brushes, but here I just wanna talk about main steps and the most important points for this landscape. For first, you need to understand what color you would like to see for this landscape. What do you think about phthalo blue? It's a very saturated color, really pigmented, and also I mixed a little bit of a turquoise blue. From the first, don't think too much about blending. We will blend these colors later. First stripe, it's a dark mix of the phthalo and a turquoise, and this time the second stripe, it's a lighter color, almost just a turquoise blue. Third stripe, thick stripe here, it's turquoise again, and even more white in it. You can still see a borders between colors, isn't it? I want to mix a little tiny bit of green into the sky area. Personally, I really enjoying green variations in the sky. So put it and let's go with blending. What do you need to remember? First, when you're blending color to color, light one to the medium, clean your brush first, and then with intense moves, spread colors left to right, like this, till you will see no border between these two. Then again, clean your brush. It is very important because, of course, you may have some light blue from the previous blending. Clean brush, and again with intense move, blend the border between two areas. That's it. This way, blending will go really smooth. Next step here, it's clouds, and it's up to you, honestly, because in my opinion this landscape will look beautiful with or without clouds. The most interesting and contrasted detail here, it's a mountain in the center, so you need to remember about it. Clouds have to be very gentle. This way I recommend to use color from the previous mix, those you already have on your palette. Add white in it, but colors still need to be dark enough. It's maybe one tone up compared to the darkest area on a sky, so you can barely see these clouds. My brush not soft, it's a natural Bristol rough brush, and brush strokes not long at all. I'm like scratching this color on top, and it's mostly looking as a gray fog, let's say like that. Very gentle clouds, because if you will use too much of clear white and clouds will look contrasted, it will take attention from the few trees on the foreground, and which is most important, from the mountains far from you. Look, this makes so dark, so it's looking even darker than a light turquoise area on a sky. I'm trying to dab color so it's not a really brush strokes. Clouds need to be fluffy, soft shaped, and about a light direction here, a light going from the right to the left. So if you wanna create a bit of a highlights on the clouds, it's need to be on the right side of each cloud. No need to add a lot. Distance between these clouds need to be big enough. I've got lots of questions about my slanted brushes nowadays, and you've been asking how it's possible to get the similar ones. This is my local brand with a yellow stripe. So I was looking last 2 months, I was looking around to get a set of the brushes that doing all the same that my local brushes I've got here, and finally I found a really nice set of 6 brushes. I will add a link also to my supply list. Here in this set you can find 6 brushes from number 2 till number 12. It's a 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 12, like that. I like it, really, it's pointy enough. I like also synthetical bristle because it's cleaning from acrylic without any issues. And I like the quality. It's actually all we need, isn't it? How to paint mountains here. Let me share to you a trick I really love to use. I'm gonna use 2 brushes same time, so I'm gonna switch it. In my left hand right now I have another brush with white on it. So I have 2 spots. First spot, it's a color of a mountain in a shadow. It's a combination of a turquoise blue, violet, a little bit of white. But on my another brush, it's mostly white mix there. And important thing, you know what? I saw so many times paintings when snow was created, was done by using just a clear white. Actually, snow never that clear. It's not a completely white. It's reflecting everything around. It's reflecting touch of the sun, also colors from the sky, from the mountains around, from the few trees around. So it can contain yellow and red because of the sun. So I'm gonna use really light, extremely light, but still peachy color. Can you see it? It's not a clear white. I know it's looking very light on my canvas, but take a look on my palette. There you can find an actual mix I'm using right now. So this way I'm changing brushes each time when I need to switch from the light to the shadow and from the shadow to the light. Why I like this trick? Because this way you don't have to clean your brush before each switching. For example, right now I'm painting with light, isn't it? I'm creating a light part of the hill, of the slope. I need darker color, that's fine, I'm just taking another brush. I don't need to splash my brushes, so all acrylic I have on my palette I'm using for painting, not just putting it into the water. So it's saving your acrylic and it's saving your time. You're not spending lots of the time to create new mix because you're running out of the color you mixed before, and also you're not spending time for brush cleaning, isn't it? It's a nice point of the sets because in a set you can find a really close numbers. For example, here I like to use number 6 and 8 together, or I can recommend to you to use together 8 and 10. This way you can create mountains really fast, much faster than with just a single brush. Main idea how to create nice, sharp looking, almost dangerous looking mountings. It's still beautiful even if looking a bit dangerous, isn't it? So no blending. If for the sky blending need to be done, it's very smooth transition color to color. For sky, you need to create two sides of the mountings. From the right side, it's a light. From the left, it's a shadow. And the borderline between them, in general, looking as a zigzag. It's like a broken line in many areas, in many points. So this way you're not blending, but you're creating borderline with a really interesting look, complicated look. Of course, I recommend to you check some references, search for it, or it's perfect if you can see mountains in the real. It's giving to you lots of knowledge how mountains looking in a different weather, in a summertime, in a winter time. Right now it's a winter time, of course. If you can see them in the real, as for me, I'm living in a city, so there is no hills or mountains around. Of course, need to check some photos for details, interesting details, because it's just not possible to keep it really good in your mind, in your imagination. As for me, I'm painting without a sketch because I already have some experience with a drawing before. But for you, I know some of you like to use traceable, ready to print and transfer. Of course, you can find it in my creative club. If you're gonna use traceable, you can transfer lines of the sketch after clouds and a sky area will be done. So you create it and transfer all lines. This way, of course, it's just a bit easier to create this interesting borderline between light and a shadow on each mounting. You can see how many colors I used here. A little bit of violet, some turquoise blue, phthalo blue on a dark side, and light peachy color, some light turquoise on a light side. In the middle ground, let's just spread some of blue. I'd say it's a mid-tone, not really dark but also not light at all. Blend it well. I'm using flat brush from the IKEA set. I really like how this brush is blending colors. And let's create some details on a middle ground. It's a tiny few trees really far from you first, but of course need to create a snow on a foreground as well. For few trees, those tiny ones, you can use a flat brush number 2 from the set, or if you like to, if you need a better control on the shape of the few trees, possible to use a brush number 1, for example. Don't choose two tiny brushes as a 0 or 00, because this way you're gonna spend lots of time, but later we're gonna add bigger and more interesting details on the foreground, so those tiny details far from you gonna be not visible at all. Look, here are some important moments. Dark blue color already dried on a canvas, but white still fresh. How to blend it together? You can use a medium color between it. You can still remember what color you used on a middle ground for the blue snow, isn't it? It was a turquoise blue plus a little bit of phthalo blue. And on a foreground right now, it was a light peachy color. Mix it together and use as a middle color between dark blue and white. put it in and blend a little bit. That's it, that's enough. It's a nice area for future tiny house. Yes, I'd like to add here one, but if you're in a hurry, if you have just like a 1 hour for this painting, I recommend to skip it, because for the house you don't think it's a tiny detail and you're gonna create it really fast. It's gonna take at least 20-30 minutes to complete. Yes, this detail is tiny, but it's have a lot of interesting points, and you will need time and attention to create it one by one, really accurate. First, it's a roof. You can paint it with just white for first. Next, it's a side part of the roof. Let's create shape for the front wall. It's a triangle on top. And this is the bottom part of the wall. That's it. Color I used here, it's a umber burnt mixed with a little bit of a blue. These pillars started with a brown first, but don't paint it till the end, till the ground. Stop it here and continue till the snow with a blue color like this. Don't forget about a cast shadow. Be accurate. I even switched to the brush number 1. There is no huge windows, because it's not a point to create it in a small houses, I believe, in mountains. Just not useful, so I added 2 tiny windows. I like how house looking, so let's create a fir tree. Nowadays I saw a couple of paintings done by my tutorial of the previous year, and I also got some questions about a volume on a fir tree, how to create it. Let's see. What I can recommend to you to do at first, create a shape for the fir tree with the green colors. And here 2 sides, shadow and a light. Left side of the fir tree, I recommend to you mix ochre green and violet deep, not black, because black desaturating your colors. So you're risking to lose green from the fir tree, but it's like a main color for it. So no need to use black at all. Better mix it with a violet deep. But on the right side, create shapes of the branches with a lighter green. You can mix ochre green and yellow medium, for example, and add a little bit of white into the mix and complete the shape. It's no need to detail it better than that, because later we're gonna put a nice and rich coat of the snow on top. This way you can plan all fir trees you're gonna include in your composition. And next, let's go with kind of dark color, isn't it? Look, it's even darker than a sky behind it. And this is a snow in a shadow. It's a combination of a turquoise blue, a little bit of a cobalt blue, and a violet plus white, of course. No black again. Consistency, creamy, really thick. I have a nice amount of a mix on my brush. Spread it on top of a fir tree. Don't go too far on the right side with this color. Cover, I'd say, till the middle part. Like this. I'm using a really nice amount of the color right now, so of course I can cover green or other colors I have previously done before. I'm not covering a fir tree completely. You still can see a green parts under the layer of the snow. Important to keep it. You have to repeat this step for all fir trees on your composition, and right now let me share what to do with the light part. Same trick, white without white. I mean, yeah, of course, here are white in a mix, but also carmine and a yellow, so it's a peachy color, warm toned one. Brushwork really close to the previous one. Paint it brushstroke by brushstroke. Try to create really interesting looking edge of the snow layer on a fir tree. Go till the center of a fir tree, not too far on a shadow part. And again, no need to blend. Same that I already talked to you about the mountings. If you need to create a smoother looking transition to the shadow, you can just put a single brush stroke like this, see? It's not joined to the previous huge area of the white snow on a fir tree. This is a big group of the snow and a tiny brush stroke in the center. And again, start with a huge amount of the snow, a thick one. It's covering a fir tree really well. And a tiny separated brush stroke in the center, like this. You can create one or two or even more if it's needed. More separated brush strokes, smoother transition gonna look. That's it. You need just repeat this step for all other fir trees and your painting done. Thank you very much for joining to me today. Thank you for all of your support. Hope you like this painting. Please subscribe my channel, don't forget to thumbs up, and of course welcome, join my creative club. Share to me your paintings on my Instagram, #PaintyKat. I wish you Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. It was a PaintyKat. I'll catch you later on my next tutorials. Bye bye.